said it. I'm truly humbled, and I stand here, honestly, as a representative for all those who've been educated by the Cincinnati Dominicans. Representative for all the educators who have participated in this Dominican mission, and especially today for our dedicated staff, administration, and faculty who have served here in this holy place. We all come to work every day striving to encourage you, to call you to be your best self. This is the sacred endeavor of Trinity High School. I was raised in a family where words matter. It is truly a terrible thing in the McBride family to be called a liar. My mom was taught by the Cincinnati Dominicans, a proud member of the class of '60. And my dad often said, usually randomly, "You never stand so tall as when you stoop to help another, and to much is given, much is expected." Our dad always wanted to be of help. My mom was a chaplain, and through watching her with people, she nurtured in us a knowledge of how important it is to show up for people, to be there. Both of them showed us how important it is to nurture great friendships. Truly, the reason I chose Trinity, and probably the reason my daughters chose Trinity, was to have those wonderful lifelong friends. My family, the one of my birth, and the one I've helped create, are kind and caring people. People who know how to love and forgive. And thank you to each of them. It's just weird to have them here. A few years ago, I was lucky enough to travel to France to learn about St. Dominic. I went with a group of sisters, a priest, and a few other educators. I know that sounds like I started a joke, but... And I got to sit in the place where St. Dominic in the 13th century was up all night debating the Albigensian heresy. I don't need to explain that. After the night was over, Dominic had listened long enough to change his way of living. Now he would live without the niceties of the nobility. And the people who listened to him recognized him as someone who had authentic faith and knowledge and was true to his word. After that night, he sold his books and his horse, and he walked back to Spain. Sister Katrina, who was there and from Ireland, I think that's an important detail, prayed with me at the first successful monastery that St. Dominic established, which of course was for women as cloistered nuns in Prouy, France. And she told me to listen to the stones because they sing. I believe I hear echoes in this building, all the love, prayers, and hopes gathered in the crevices of these walls. The stones resonate with stories. These stories know the future is female. They've always known we deserve equal rights. They know women's rights are human rights. These stones know the triumphs and failures, the joys and sorrows. They know the her story of our institution. I am so very proud to belong to the Trinity tribe. Proud to have been mentored by my Trinity teachers, Trinity alumni, family and friends, and you, my amazing students. When people, educators, for example, the master teacher, Ms. Cerkovich. Welcomed me back as a colleague. I was as humbled and grateful as I am today. My tribe of colleagues have modeled for me what true service is. Service in action is the living fulfillment of faith and good works united. Centennial Dominicans and teachers committed to that tradition taught me from kindergarten through high school. Literally, my kindergarten teacher was Sister Maria Melda, and I was almost her height. Sorry, yeah, okay. As teachers, they all held high standards and an understanding of excellence. But actually, we didn't even talk very much about being Dominican. I knew very little about Father Samuel Mazzucchelli or the 4 essentials of Dominican life. The sisters taught by example. They allowed us to question society's standards and see marginalized people as deserving, as dignified, as loved by God. Their actions, their expectations reinforced the lessons taught. They showed us the right thing to do and reminded us to pray for each other and to hold each other up, to love all God's creation. The sisters, like the educators who surround us now, are people who do things. They act. Their words hold gravity as they are authentic. I learned about social justice because they were unafraid to speak about controversial topics. Sister Mary Wolf used to give me a side hug after a debate in her class. You can imagine I was unafraid to take a dive in the deep end. I knew she loved me, and that was a great gift. Still is. Jesus instructs us to love one another. That is the absolute commandment. The only prayer Jesus taught us was the Our Father, which states, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." I believe we are called to work, to act with some urgency, to grow the kingdom here on earth and now on this day and in service to each other. The secret I've found is that doing something for a stranger, truly listening without an agenda, working toward a more just and merciful society, actually helps you love yourself. The more I give compassion, the more I like myself. I love the fact that we are made of stardust. Most of the elements that make up the human body were formed in stars. Awesome. Thus, the shining piece of us, our soul, sparkles, I think, when we shine up the world with kind words, hold the door open for a stranger, compliment a classmate with whom we've had an issue, pick up trash, stand up to a bully, support those without a voice. I've been of service here in my favorite cathedral, full of everyday miracles. So being awarded for it seems embarrassing. But because my service has been as an educator in this community, I would ask you to please join me in applauding all our present and retired teachers, administrators, and staff, especially our Dominican sisters. God bless us all.